today, the last time we were here, it was sort of like I said, we did Ask Me Anything, and you're free to do that today. But what I want to do is kind of go down a kind of a quasi topic, and that's to answer the question: is a destination wedding right for you? It's destination weddings have become front and center. A lot of people are thinking of that as an option. And as we head into the holiday season, would you believe that most folks who are going to be, how do I say it the right way grammatically? Most of the proposals, wedding proposals, engagement proposals that happen, most of them happen between Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day. So a lot of proposals, a lot of people going down on one knee and asking, will you marry me, and things like that. So it stands to reason that a destination wedding may be something that comes up as an option. So in essence, let me do the sound off here. Hold on. Forgot to do that part. So destination wedding, in essence, by definition, right? It's a wedding that happens away from your hometown, and it's a destination where everybody, you and your guests, just sort of congregate in one spot. So if you live here in the Washington, D.C. area where I am, and neither I nor my partner have any ties to Colorado, and we decide that we are going to have our wedding in Colorado and invite all of our guests to join us in Colorado, that is a destination wedding. So it doesn't have to be out of the country. It's just away from where you're located. It's a destination for everyone, you and your guests. Typically, there's at least one overnight stay, usually more than that, because to ask people to travel, they're probably going to want to invest more time once they get to the destination, right? So what we see a lot of now is that folks will travel to exotic or picture perfect places. Colorado is a picture perfect place, depending on where you go. But many times for folks here in North America, Caribbean, Mexico are top. They're top destinations. They're easier to get to, and they're just beautiful. So the thing is it right for you? Because basically, not even basically, what a destination wedding is, it's you're planning a big trip for all of your family and friends. You are the group leader. You, the couple getting married, right? You're inviting a group of family and friends to join you somewhere else. The highlight of that trip is going to be your wedding, the ceremony, and the reception. That sounds great, right? What could be better? But the truth of the matter is, that's a big, there are a couple, there's good and there's the flip side of that, right? First off, it's cost. A lot of times you'll hear folks say, okay, a destination wedding is going to cost less than a hometown wedding. And many times it does. If you're going to the Caribbean, there are resorts and hotels that are ready and waiting to help you. They have it all figured out. They have wedding packages. They bundle flowers, food, the ceremony, the decor, all of that. They'll give you a flat price and say, this is how much you pay. This is what you'll get. That makes planning easier, but usually what happens is you get way more bang for your buck in the Caribbean. So it makes sense to go that route. But here's the thing. Because you're planning to invite guests, if you're planning to invite guests, and you don't have to, by the way, if you and your other half decide to go without family and friends, you're eloping. That's not even a wedding. I shouldn't say that's not even a wedding. It's not a traditional wedding. Well, destination wedding's not even traditional then. It's not a group wedding. It's just you and your partner. But if you plan to invite guests, you are in essence planning a group trip, right? You're planning a vacation for family and friends. And for many people, that is going to be their vacation for the entire year. That is going to be the trip. If they were planning to go somewhere that year and you decide to get married in Aruba, that is likely to be their family trip. So with that comes some caveats, right? The first thing we got to think about is your guests. Are they going to be willing to travel? Can they afford to travel? Is it a logistical possibility they can travel? Folks have to get passports, people have to get time off work, people have to find the funds for airfare, they've got to find the funds for their hotel, because you're not responsible for those costs. So, depending on your tribe, depending on your people, depending on your family, that may or may not work for you. So, that's the first consideration. If you're inviting guests, will it work for them? This week, I read an article and I got to post it in Facebook. I'm terrible at social media, but I have to post it on Facebook. It's about this woman who is calculating all the costs that she spent in the last few years to go on these destination weddings. And it's in the thousands. So she's saying it, but she's also just sort of lamenting on the whole thing. So you have to think, are you okay with that? Are you also okay with pushback? Because not everybody's going to want to go. Maybe folks who want to go can't go because it doesn't work out for them, for the timing, the time off work, the kids, the money. Are you okay with that? I've had friends have destination weddings and I would like to go and haven't attended, and almost was a little icky because it was kind of awkward. I'm wondering, God, are they okay with that? So you have to sort of decide, are you okay with the pushback that you may get from your guests? Also, another thing to keep in mind is when you're planning a destination wedding, right? And you're miles away from the place, you don't get to go check everything out. I mean, you don't always get to you don't get to check the venue. You don't get to taste the food. You don't get to see the decor up front. Granted, you might be able to see these things virtually, but you kind of have to trust the process. Now, there's one way around it. You can go ahead and do a scouting trip. You can do a pre-trip. You can go visit beforehand to see how the place looks and meet the folks. But most couples, the first time they see the venue where they're going to get married and the setup is when they arrive a few days before their wedding. So there's a lot of trust involved. Now, as somebody who plans weddings, I know for sure that I partner with people that I know are doing a good job. So I'm sort of like the go-between. It's like, it's going to be okay. They've got it figured out. They've got their packages. They've got pictures. You can do video calls. You can do all of that. But if you're someone who has to be very hands-on and needs to see everything and bless it before it happens, you may struggle with a destination wedding because you honestly have to trust the process. And when you get there, I'm doing the cross thing, but if you're working with the right resort and working with the right team, you have very little to worry about. Having said that, a destination wedding usually means you're a little more laid back. I was going to say highly strung. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but you're okay with things not being exactly the way you want them. You know what I mean? So if you're someone, and I mean, I am somewhat of a control freak, I'll say it, right? So trusting someone I haven't met, someone I don't have a relationship with, a working relationship with, and just hoping and praying that they are going to deliver what I want them to deliver for my wedding, that's a leap of faith. And for some folks, that just creates too much anxiety and they can't deal with it. So my answer is always, go check out the place, go visit, go do a scouting trip beforehand, meet the people, look around the spot, see where exactly it is you're going to stand and exchange your vows, taste the food, look at the cake, see the flowers, because you can do all of that. Of course, there's a cost associated with it, but to relieve your nerves and to give you the assurance that this is the setup that you want, I would highly recommend that. But again, having a destination wedding means you need to trust the process. Another pointer about a destination wedding right for you? Do you have time? Most weddings take about 12 months or more to plan, some less time than that. And for a destination wedding, to have the wedding you really want with guests, it really is no different. You have to find a venue, and if you're bringing guests, you have to make sure they have a place to stay. So that takes time. I would suggest 12 months minimum. It can be done less depending on what time of year you're going. But if you're in a rush and you want to get married in 90 days or so, or 6 months or less, you can do and I'm referring to weddings in the Caribbean, right? You can, and Mexico for that matter, you can plan an event, but it really depends on space and availability. And that can just bring unnecessary stress. So if you're in a rush a destination wedding may not be the best solution for you, but it can be depending on how flexible you are. If you have a smaller guest list, it'll be easier to find space. Depends on your budget, because depending on when you're going, the rooms may be at a different rate than they normally will, but could work out in your favor too. But if you're eloping, you can absolutely get this done in 6 months or less. But for a destination wedding with guests coming to the wedding, it's going to be a bit of a task if you're in a rush. Okay. All right. Let me know if you're where you're joining me from. Just post in the comments. So the way it works is I can see your Facebook comments. I can see your YouTube comments. I think I can see your Instagram comments. So if you're on Instagram, just send a note and say hi so I can see you, know that you're there. But if not, let's keep on moving. All right. Is a destination wedding right for you? If you have a lot of people, that you have a huge family, a lot of family and friends that you want to make sure they're there. If you have, let's say your wedding wouldn't be a wedding if your grandma couldn't attend, then she becomes a primary part of you trying to figure it out, right? Because she may be the deciding factor. Can she travel? Is she, and I'm assuming grandma's an older person, not all grandmas are seniors, but I just use that as an example. The key people that you want to attend, can they attend? Is it possible for them to attend? Medically, mobility issues. I remember a few years ago, I was talking to a dear friend of mine, and he was traveling to the Caribbean for business, but he was saying he had to really plan the event because he is on dialysis, and that requires that he go to a dialysis center once a week. So for his travels, when he's going out of the country or just out of town for an extended period of time, he has to make sure that that's in place. He has to make sure that he has those medical resources. And I thought about it and I thought, well, I didn't even think of that. So it may not be dialysis, but it may be someone who needs to make sure that if God forbid something happens or they need medical attention, they can get that right away. And beyond that, are they okay to do the flight? Are they okay to get on a plane? Depending on where you're getting married, there may not be a direct flight. The person may need to do a layover, need to change planes. Is that going to be an issue? So all of that is a big part of you trying to figure out about, is a destination wedding right for you? So it sounds like I'm trying to turn you off the idea of a destination wedding, and that's not the case at all. What I'm suggesting is these are things that you have to think about beforehand. Does it make sense? Because we see all of the bright and shiny objects, which are the photos and the videos and the images on social media. The thing with social media, which is no surprise to any of us, right? And it's not lost on me, is that we see all the good. We see all the fun stuff. There are very rare instances where people are going on social media to say, this is what I'm struggling with. This is how terrible this is. We can kind of get caught up in this imposter syndrome where you think everything is wonderful because this is what is portrayed on social media. And what I'm saying is, when you're planning anything in life, there's going to be good and there's going to be not so great. And there are going to be things you have to consider. You're going to have to concede on some things. And maybe what you thought you wanted, it won't work out that way. And it's no different with your destination wedding. I personally think a destination wedding is a great idea. Is it for everyone? Absolutely not. I've mentioned a few of the reasons why it might not be for you. Now, if you are someone who loves travel, if you are someone who enjoys doing things differently, if you are someone who wants to have your wedding in an idyllic spot and really, if only a handful of folks can make it there, you're okay, then a destination wedding is right up your alley. It's about you and it's about the person that you're with. So as with anything, a destination wedding may be right for you if those boxes are checked for you. Don't get caught up in what everybody else wants and what everybody else is doing. I think the two of you getting married and the marriage beyond that is the most important part. Everything else is gravy. Petit caca. it doesn't, it's irrelevant. That's my opinion. But depending on your family dynamics, if your parents or family members are helping you pay for the wedding, then they get a say. A lot of times they get to decide how this wedding is going to work out, where it's going to be, what the cost is involved. And getting back to cost, a destination wedding, typically what you'll get for your destination wedding versus what you'll pay at your hometown, again, talking about the Caribbean and also Mexico, you're going to get more bang for your buck, but you still have responsibility. There's still things you've got to pay for. Pay for your travel, pay for your accommodation. You're having a wedding. You've got to pay for folks' food and their drink and the ceremony and the decor and the chairs and the flowers. All of that is still a cost that you need to incur. But usually it's packaged in such a way that you'll save some money for sure. But there still are costs involved. And talking to someone who's involved in the destination wedding industry, in the business, can really help you figure it out. That's where someone like me comes in. This is not a plug for me, but this is what I do. And I found, some surprising instances. I've met with couples who say, we don't want a cookie cutter. We want something very custom and bespoke. And you can have that, but that comes at a cost. And you also have to remember, you're not at home, you're in another location. I doing business with the Caribbean, I'm gonna tell you something. Island time is a real thing. When you contact someone and expecting to get a response the same day, many times I'm contacting colleagues and vendors, and it takes days to get a response. That's just the way it is. It's just not as fast paced as it is here in the US, and you have to be okay with that. Also, the level of service is not always the same. And this is not a knock on anybody in the Caribbean. It's just what we consider like 5-star in America, 5-star in the Caribbean isn't always the same. But you can, by doing your homework and doing your research, you soon start to figure out who is doing what they say they're going to do and who's kind of just trying to sell you a wolf ticket. They're just they've just got the great pictures and the great video. Okay, I feel like I'm talking a lot. Are there any questions for me? Again, I think we're okay. I'm looking at the stream. I'm not exactly on Facebook. Let me know. 1 second. I'm just checking. If you have any questions, please let me know. Oh, someone asks, how frequently am I doing this? The goal is to do this every other Sunday, alternately, or as they say in the UK, every fortnight. So not next Sunday, but the following one. But I will be doing some actual info sessions in the middle of the week, probably on a Wednesday, and I'll post those on Facebook. So Hitched Away, hitchedaway.com is the home base, right? You'll find out how to make an appointment, talk to me. But also, I have a very weak presence on Facebook and on Instagram, and trying to get my head around doing more of that so I can get the eyes my way. But as we are here today, this should be broadcasting live on Facebook. So everything is at Hitched Away is the handle. We should be broadcasting live on Instagram. We should be broadcasting live on YouTube. And if you're on hitchedaway.com/live, I think we should be showing up live there. So, Mommy, if you're watching live, good to see you. I know it doesn't always show up. I'm looking to see. I don't think it's showing. Are we coming up live? No, I don't think we're live. No, not live on the live. So I know my mom's missing out. My fault. So anyway, all right, we've got a few minutes left. If there are any questions, please let me know. I also wanted to point out that although I specialize in the Caribbean, I can also help with your destination wedding outside of the Caribbean. Maybe not in the capacity that I can with the Caribbean, because what I've done is narrowed down my niche so that I'm focused on a smaller area and get to know that really, really well. Currently, I'm a specialist for Sandals and Beaches Resort. Sandals is based in the Caribbean, based throughout several islands. Sandals is an all-inclusive luxury resort. but it's designed for adults and it's designed for couples. So when you sign up, when you go to Sandals, everything is for two people. Everything is for a pair. Very few things set up for one person. So if you are a couple and want a vacation, honeymoon, Sandals is it. Sandals also has a really great wedding program, and it's designed for guests, for couples who are bringing adults to their wedding. Now, if you want to get married at Sandals and you have a lot of single guests, then you may be thinking, well, that might not be the place. We can arrange to have a certain number of single guests at the resort for your wedding. So don't rule that out completely. But what Sandals has also done is they have another brand, Beaches, which is their family resort, and that's for everyone, adults, children, singles, multi-generational. They can all attend. They can all they could say Beaches welcomes them. So what you can do is have your wedding there, and everybody can show up. Currently, there's a Beaches in Turks and Caicos, which is absolutely beautiful. I've got to post some videos there. There's one in Ocho Rios, Jamaica, and the other one is in Negril, Jamaica. So those are your options if you want to have your wedding or celebration at a Beaches resort. But if it's Sandals, then it's limited to, I shouldn't say limited, I don't want to make it sound that way. You've got Jamaica, Barbados, Grenada, St. Lucia, Antigua, the Bahamas, Curacao. I'm missing someone. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that's the newest spot. And I still feel like I'm missing someone. I think I got everyone in there. Oh, did I say St. Lucia? Yeah. St. Lucia, Grenada, Curacao, Barbados, St. Vincent, Jamaica, the Bahamas, Antigua, and then there's Turks and Caicos, which is the Beaches property. So lots of options there for Sandals. Just let me know and I'll definitely help you with that. Okay. All right. Hi, Janelle. Good to see you. Good to see you. So any questions from anyone about destination weddings or travel or anything like that? I always add travel at the end because I'm a reluctant travel advisor. Destination weddings and travel go hand in hand. You don't get one without the other. And if you're planning a destination wedding, I really would suggest that you get a travel advisor involved to help you figure out the logistics. It's enough that you're asking people to take time off work, to make an investment in travel, in their accommodations, their flight. I think you should help them figure out where they're staying and give them some options and make it as easy as possible. And by just saying we're getting married at this hotel in this country, contact them and make your reservations. I think you should go a step further. Go ahead and give them the room rates, and better still, set up a room block. A room block means the hotel is going to set aside a certain number of rooms just for your group, And basically the room block says, before, you have this amount of time to put your deposit down. And once the deposit is made, we are going to hold this room for you. And in order to do that, a travel advisor can help you do that. You can contact the hotel, but here's the thing. The hotel is dealing with you for one time, and that's your wedding. So there's no incentive for them to give you the best deal possible. When you're working with a travel advisor, that means repeat business for that hotel. So they want to make sure that this travel advisor brings more people to that location. Working with a travel advisor means A, this person can negotiate a better rate for you, and B, you're going to get VIP service because that person's going to go to bat to make sure that what they have said they're going to do for you, they actually do for you. Now, I'm not saying that hotels are notorious and they're going to do terrible things and they're not going to honor what they say, but with a travel advisor, there's more of an incentive for them to do that. So working with a travel advisor for your wedding is important. When you do a destination wedding, especially in the Caribbean, you've got two parts. You've got wedding and you've got travel. The wedding is the ceremony, the reception, the decor, the flowers, the food. That's one part. The rooms, which is the travel part, is a different area, and that's where you need a travel advisor. So I would strongly, strongly recommend that you have someone help you with the travel portion and let them guide you for your guests. If for no other reason, you don't want to be the person that your guests are contacting. Oh, what kind of rooms? Should we get something at the beachfront? Do you know how much that costs? What do they have on site? Do they have a lot of restaurants? Let your travel advisor do the heavy lifting there. Let that person handle that situation for you. Let them handle the travel part for your guests. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention. When you invite folks for your wedding, you are responsible to make sure they have a good time, right? They pay their cost to get there, but you don't want folks to be bored, not knowing what they got to do. So you want to plan some entertainment, you want to plan some activities, and all of that really comes down to where you're staying. If you can find a resort that has a lot of those things happening on site, that's going to be easier for you and it's going to be a better experience for your guests. So keep that in mind. All right, we're almost at the 30-minute mark, and I feel like I've just been talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Again, my name is Debbie, and Hitched Away is the resource that I created. It's a website, it's a company, and the specialty is destination weddings. I know the Caribbean like the back of my hand, and if you or someone you know is planning to tie the knot and they need some help and guidance, please get in touch. Just go to hitchedaway.com/call and schedule a free call, a free consultation. Let's figure this out. If you're thinking the other place that is popular, as I mentioned, is Mexico, that's not an area. I went to a wedding in Mexico. It was a South Asian wedding, and visited and looked at some of the properties, and I was underwhelmed. But I don't want that to be a reason not to help you. So hopefully I'll be visiting Mexico again soon to give it another go. But I don't want to share and recommend something to you that I myself haven't seen. But it doesn't mean I can't help you with your wedding. So get in touch if you're planning a wedding. If you're already married and really want to redo this again, retie the knot, renew your vows, the Caribbean is a fabulous place to do that, and I'd love to help you with that too. If you're eloping, it's just the two of you, that's a great reason to go down to the Caribbean. I can help you with that. And if you're having a hometown wedding and you haven't figured out your honeymoon, I don't know why the honeymoon is always on the back end, but get in touch and I'll point you in the right direction for some great places where you can just savor the moment and just the two of you and be in love. All right. Thank you so much for, Janet, let's see. I got a comment here. Let's see. Hey, Anne. Let's see what Anne's saying. Anne said, I went to Mexico and she said she went to Mexico and she hated it. All righty. So I rest my case. So I don't know. Anne, where did you go? You see what I mean? So you don't want to be biased, but it's hard for me to have gone to a place and just been underwhelmed and then say, yeah, you should get married there. But, my needs are different from yours. Let's see. Hi, Janelle. Janelle said, this is great information. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're finding it helpful. I appreciate that. The whole point is to really answer your questions. That's what I'm here. Today was a bit of me talking and talking and talking, but really I want you to tell me what it is you want to learn more about, what you want to hear about. If you go to hitchedaway.com/live, there's a number for a talkback line. Please, leave a voicemail there, a voice note, a message, and I'd love to play it back for folks to hear your voice because we all connect to that. But just any questions, any ideas you have for topics, let me know, and I'll be happy to share that with you. All right, let's see. Anne, I'm saying, so listen, I'm saying Anne, but this is my bona fide, and she says, where are you? Anne says the Caribbean is better. See, I'm of the belief too. I have the belief that the Caribbean is better for your destination wedding. There are lots of options. What I was thinking of doing was just to do a few snippets of the different islands. So one week we focus on Jamaica, another one we focus on Antigua, another one we focus on Barbados, another one we focus on Grenada, because different islands have different vibes. Many folks who are unfamiliar with the Caribbean think it's all just one big, it's a melting pot, but it's different. And it's different with the culture, the culture is different, the vibe is different, But I think depending on what you want and the experience you want can determine, which island works out best for you. Um, Anne's asking, Janet, sorry, I'm giving out your. Anne asks, do you do family reunions? I haven't, but a family reunion is a group. So if it's a group, yeah, I'd love to help you with that. I certainly can. Just get in touch. The thing with what I found, if I can be real with you, because that's all I know how to be, when I'm planning a wedding, folks are more committed to that. So the you've got family members and friends, because it's such a special occasion, they go out of their way to attend this event. If it's not a wedding, folks kind of want, like for birthday, you get a lot of people say, yeah, I want to go, and then as things move on, it kind of just fizzles out. And that's because there's not as strong a commitment. A wedding is a big deal. So folks will go out of their way to attend. A birthday is still a big deal, but it's sort of when the pecking order for wedding and birthday, it's just not as high. So I found that folks who say they want to go, but then they don't make as much effort. So yes, I can help you with your family reunion. Just let me know what it is you have in mind. You also have to keep in mind for different Caribbean islands, if you're doing the wedding thing, what are the legal requirements? Some islands require that you remain on island a certain number of days before you can even legally tie the knot. But there are ways around that. You can get married at home, have a simple ceremony, and then just show up on the island, and no one else but you, the two of you, know that you're already married, and just have your wedding there. So lots of options, lots and lots of options. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Please share. Thank you, Kesta, Janelle, Janet. I appreciate you being here. And don't forget to visit hitchedaway.com/live and let me know what questions or topics we should do. I'm going to ask you a huge favor. As I said, I'm awful with social media, but trying my best. So please follow Hitched Away on Facebook and on Instagram. And the YouTube channel is just, but anyway, we're working on that. Let's see. Janet says, Dominica is beautiful. The sand is black, so soft, and the people are so friendly. Thank you. You and I talked about Dominica. So, I hear some people use Dominica is not DR. It's not Dominican Republic. It's not Dominica. It's Dominica. Beautiful island, off the beaten path. And it's very it's top of the line right now for a lot of ecotourism. So Janet is saying Dominica is a wonderful place to visit. So I'm definitely going to add that on my bucket list. We've talked about that. Any other islands? Tell me, folks, what other islands should we be considering? I think most people think of the Caribbean. Jamaica is the first place that comes to mind. The Bahamas, a close second. DR, Dominican Republic. But what else? Any other places that you think? What's on your bucket list? Are there places that you're thinking of that, whether for weddings or any other occasion? Just curious. I have Curacao on my bucket list. Hopefully I can do that soon. Let me know. Okay. All right. Thank you. I think we're good. I think we got everybody. Okay. So I think we'll be here not next Sunday, but the one after. If you go to hitchedaway.com/join, get on the email list, because I'll certainly, terrible with the social media, but I'll certainly send out an email to you and let you know when we're going live next. Okay. All right. Janelle says, great life. Thank you, Janelle. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And hopefully I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Yeah, that would be wonderful. All right. I hope you have a wonderful week. The weather is lovely here in the DC area. I hope it's wonderful where you are. And even if it isn't as great as you want it to be, I hope you have a safe a safe week, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Please keep in touch and let others know about Hitched Away. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Take care. Bye.